This series, Up for the Cup, will focus on the 17 London clubs who currently play in the top 5 tiers of English football and their histories in the FA Cup. This episode will focus on Crystal Palace and their record in the FA Cup. Crystal Palace's first FA Cup final appearance was in 1990 when they played Manchester United at Wembley on the 12th of May. This was the first FA Cup final to be played in front of an all-seater crowd, as Wembley's remaining standing areas had been converted to all-seater in the autumn of 1989. Palace's run to the final started in the third round with a 2-1 victory over Portsmouth. The Eagles were awarded with a home fourth round tie versus Huddersfield Town and comprehensively beat the Terriers by 4-0. In the fifth round, Palace were at home again against Rochdale. A 1-0 victory saw the Eagles through to the quarter-finals, and they faced a potentially tricky away trip to Cambridge United. Palace won 1-0, however were confronted with the task of overcoming a Liverpool side that had crushed them 9-0 in the league earlier in the season. In front of a crowd of 38,389 at Villa Park, Palace went 1-0 down after Ian Rush scored in the 14th minute. With it being 1-0 at half-time, Palace were always in the tie. A minute into the second half, Mark Bright scored, levelling for the Eagles. With 20 minutes to go, Gary O'Reilly put Palace into the lead. However, Steve McMahon equalised for Liverpool in the 81st minute, and John Barnes scored from a penalty 2 minutes later to score what had seemed to be the comeback final goal. Palace weren't done yet. Andy Gray scored the leveller at 3-3 with the game going into extra time. Alan Pardew would go down in Palace folklore, scoring the winner after 109 minutes of play, sending the Eagles into their first FA Cup final. Going into the final, Palace were not the only finalists to have gone through a high-scoring semi-final. Manchester United drew 3-3 with Oldham Athletic in the first semi-final, and in the replay won 2-1 after extra time at Main Road. At this stage, Manchester United had already won 6 FA Cup trophies. The 1990 FA Cup final was an unforgettable one. Gary O'Reilly put Palace into the lead after 18 minutes, and Brian Robson levelled for Manchester United 10 minutes before the break. Mark Hughes put United into the lead on the 62nd minute, however Ian Wright scored the equaliser for the Eagles 10 minutes later. The game went into extra time, and 2 minutes into it, Ian Wright put Palace in front. There was another dramatic turn in the game when Mark Hughes scored his second goal after 109 minutes of play. The game finished 3-3. 5 days after the first final, the replay was settled with a solitary goal when Lee Martin scored for Manchester United in the 59th minute. Looking back at it now, you can see why people always remember the first final. The replay seemed quite mundane in contrast. Crystal Palace had to wait another 26 years for their next FA Cup final appearance, and up against the same club. The same man who made history for Palace in their semi-final victory over Liverpool in 1990 was now leading the Eagles out as manager in the 2016 final. The road to Wembley for Palace in 2016 started with a 2-1 victory over Southampton at St Mary's. Joel Ward and Wilfried Zaha scoring for Palace. In the fourth round, Zaha was on the scoresheet again in their 1-0 victory over Stoke City at Selhurst. Crystal Palace played Spurs at White Hart Lane in the fifth round, Martin Kelly scoring the only goal of the game, sending Palace through. In the quarter-final, Palace scored 2 goals in the final 4 minutes of play against Reading, thanks to a Johan Cabaye penalty and a Fraser Campbell goal, sending Palace through to the semi-final. In the semi-final, Palace were up against Watford at Wembley, Yannick Bolasie putting them 1-0 up after 6 minutes of play. Troy Deeney equalised for the Hornets in the 55th minute, however 6 minutes later, Connor Wickham scored the winner, sealing their FA Cup final spot. The final was a tense affair and was a 0-0 stalemate until the 78th minute of play. Jason Puncheon scored with his left foot past David De Gea to give Crystal Palace a 1-0 advantage. This ignited Alan Pardew, who jigged with joy on the touchline. Could you imagine the scenes if Palace hung on? However, Manchester United equalised 3 minutes later through Juan Mata. The game went into extra time, and after 110 minutes of play, Jesse Lingard scored the winner for Manchester United. Since their second FA Cup final appearance, Palace returned to Wembley at the semi-final stage of the competition in April 2022 against Chelsea, who won the game by 2-0. Many thanks for watching. Let me know of your FA Cup memories in the comments. Please like, share and subscribe. Stay healthy and safe. See you on the next Up for the Cup episode.